I'm in Kanazawa City in Japan. It's absolutely freezing, but I've got a couple of rods with me and a couple of hours free. Let's see if we can catch a few fish. So here we are in the city of Kanazawa in Japan. It's one of the lesser known cities for tourists. It's about 2.5 hours northwest of Tokyo on the bullet train, and it lies on the coast of the Sea of Japan. I'm out here in Japan this time, not really for travel and not really for fishing, but I've been out here on a work trip with my girlfriend. It has been super busy. We're still working while we're here, but I've managed to get up early this morning and cram a couple of hours fishing in. Unfortunately, it's been so busy that I haven't even had time to get into a tackle shop and ask for some advice. So I'm winging it a little bit today. And I was scouring Google Maps and found this area, which is an area where the river meets the sea. I found a little park, and when I clicked on it, I saw loads of pictures of people fishing. So I thought, okay, let's go for that one. And I've had a little bit of encouragement this morning when I got here. A little old lady just walked past a few minutes ago, was chatting to me in Japanese. I don't speak a word of Japanese, but I did hear one word very often, and it was kurodai, which I know is the Japanese name for the black sea bream that live here. And that's what I'm hoping to catch today. So that's fairly encouraging. And in terms of tactics today, I thought I'm going to try and maximize my chances, and I'm going to fish 2 rods. So I've got my ultralight lure set up, which I'm going to try all the way along this edge here, but I'm going to fish a bait rod as well. And with the very limited tackle that I've got in my box, I've managed to whip up some kind of a flapper rig here. So I've grabbed a couple of sinkers that I use in a Texas rig and tied them onto the end there. And then I've got a swivel bead here wedged between 2 line stops. And onto that I've tied a section of fluorocarbon towards the hook. And then I've got another one of them further up the line. And for bait, I'm winging it even more really. I only had this idea late last night when the only shops that were still open were the convenience stores. And it's a shame because one of the most famous things in Kanazawa is its fish market. And if I'd have been early enough, I'd have been able to get some great bait from there, I'm sure. But I was limited to what I could get from Lawson, Family Mart and 7-Eleven, the famous convenience stores here. And I managed to pick up this boiled whelk and this squid with sweet vinegar. I'd have obviously preferred to get some raw bait if I could, but that's all I can do. So I'm going with that today. Who knows, I might be able to find a crab in the rocks or something like that. But anyway, you never know. So let's get that out there first, and then I'll show you the ultralight lure setup that I've got as well. Right, let's send that out there. I'm not going to cast too far because the current's kind of ripping through a little bit, so. That'll do. There we go, that's settled. I'm going to try and prop the rod up in one of these holes. That'll do fairly nicely, I think. Okay, and for the other setup, I've got my new ultralight travel spin rod from St. Croix. And on the business end, I'm going to start off with this. The Duo Spearhead Ryuki. I love that little lure, that's really cool. And I picked that up in Tokyo in a shop that I had a really great time in. It's called Tackleberry. It's a famous tackle shop chain. But the store in Shibuya in the center of Tokyo has loads of used lures, and I could have spent hours in there. This lure was not used, this one was brand new, but I had a great time in that shop and found some real gems that I can't wait to use when I get back to Spain. So fully recommend if you're in Tokyo to spend a little bit of time at Tackleberry in Shibuya. Anyway, we're all set up. Let's go and do a bit of fishing, see if we can maybe catch one of these famous Japanese bream. Well, my bait fishing didn't get off to the best start. It's very, very rocky out there, and unfortunately it got snagged instantly and I lost everything. But I'm not giving up on it because I've just been working the lure under this bridge, and I think it's much clearer under there. It seems quite clear anyway. So I've rigged up again, just with one hook this time, and I'm going to give it a little go under here. You never ever know in this game. So I was completely wrong about it not being rocky under the bridge. It's completely rocky. I'm gonna lose everything again, so that's gonna be the end of the bait fishing, I believe. Yeah, there we go. Well, that's the end of that. I think while I'm spending a few minutes casting under this bridge here, I want to talk a little bit about Japan as a travel destination, and it's become so popular in the last couple of years for various reasons. I think it's gone a bit viral on Instagram, but also the yen is really weak at the moment, so people come here to spend money and go shopping. And you know what? It's an incredible country. I'm just fishing here. This is obviously quite an urban spot, but in front of me there I can see snow-capped mountains in the distance. Oh, just had a knock there. I can see snow-capped mountains in the distance, so there's so much to do, and obviously the cities are really unique and kind of iconic. The shopping's incredible, but you know what? The three kind of tourist hotspots have become so overrun with tourists. So I'm talking Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, that you can tell when you're in those cities, the vibe is just not right. Like, the local people starting to get a little bit of annoyed with it. The cities are super crowded with tourists. There are foreigners everywhere, which is fine because obviously these are, you know, famous places to visit. And if you come into Japan for the first time, you're gonna want to hit those places, right? I came to Japan for the first time last year, and that's exactly what I did. I went to Tokyo, Osaka, and Kyoto, those three spots. But I have to say, if you come into Japan, I'd really consider getting out of those areas if you can. This place, Kanazawa, is a great alternative. It's a little bit like Kyoto, so there's a lot of kind of history here. You can find the old school, traditional Japanese style buildings, the geisha districts, the tea houses. The food here is really good, so this place is famous for seafood, sushi, that kind of thing. And it's way quieter than Kyoto. It's not as crowded and overrun by tourists as that place is. So I'd recommend coming here instead of Kyoto. Tokyo, I think if you're coming to Japan for the first time, you've got to visit it, right? But don't spend too long there. I find that city really draining. It's obviously the biggest city in the world. And I've been to loads of huge cities. I've been to Shanghai, Hong Kong. I go to Taipei in Taiwan every year, and I love those places. I can't get on with Tokyo, you know. It's just too busy. It takes too long to go anywhere. And also, a big city should be a bit chaotic and a bit noisy. But Tokyo is really quiet and it's kind of eerie. It's a little bit inhuman, I think. I just don't get along with the place. So if you're coming to Japan for the first time, go, but spend 2 days there and then get out. There's so much more out there. I'd love to come back to Japan and do a proper nature trip. So go hiking, go camping, and properly explore the fishing a lot more. On this trip, obviously, I'm here for work. I've got to take what I can get, and I'm really lucky that I've been able to squeeze a few hours fishing in. But it's always urban locations, which are cool in their own way, but I'd love to get out in the countryside and explore a bit more. I think there's some really good fishing opportunities in Japan. Good trout fishing, some really cool, unique carp fishing if you can get out there. And yeah, if I had more time, I'd love to explore that. So I know everyone wants to come to Japan at the moment, and it is a really cool country, but I'd say just think about your itinerary. See if you can get away from Tokyo, Kyoto, and Osaka. And if I'm being really honest with you, think about going to Taiwan instead. I absolutely love Taiwan, and I think it has the perfect combination of kind of the chaotic nature of China and the calm, like serene, polite cleanliness of Japan. It's a perfect balance between the two. So yeah, if you're coming out this way, Japan's really cool, but think about Taiwan as well. Let's give this one a little try. I bought this one earlier in the year in Taiwan. We were using it to fish for the Taiwanese marcia there. Yes. Oh my God, come on. We're into something. Oh my God, I was messing around with a random lure and first cast with it. What have we got? I think it's a bream. Oh, I was just messing around with a lure that I got in Taiwan. Yes! Look at that. Kurodai. Let's go. Oh, I'm buzzing. Well, sometimes fishing can surprise you. I stuck on a little tiny bladed lure that I bought in Taiwan earlier this year and used for Marcia there for no other reason than to just try something different and mess around. And the first cast, this smashed it. This absolutely nailed it. This is a Japanese black sea bream known as kurodai or chinu, and it is a stunning looking fish. A proper brutal looking fish, this one. Look at that spiky dorsal fin. There are spikes all around it. Look at those teeth in there. Perfect for crushing crabs and other crustaceans on the rocks. And do you know what? I didn't think that was going to happen at all. So I am over the moon to catch that. What a fish, and what a fish to catch here in Kanazawa in Japan. Get in. All right, let's get this fish back. I'm over the moon to have caught that. Cracking species, that. There you go. Bit of a kick, come on. There he goes, he's shot off. Get in there. Kurodai. Woohoo! Just walked upstream a little bit to the next bridge. This looks like a good area. Some stunning autumn trees behind me there. I think November, December is a really nice time to visit Japan. You get all the colours of the autumn trees. Before I got to Kanazawa, we spent 3 days in a town called Matsumoto, which is in the Nagano prefecture and in the Japanese Alps. And that was a cracking place. I loved it there. Mountains all around you, and at this time of year, they're all covered with orange and yellow trees. It's really nice. People often talk about the ingenuity of Japan, right? And how in Japan, everything is made as convenient as possible for you. And I think this is a good example. So this is like a rice ball that I bought from the convenience store earlier. And if you've never been to Japan before, you might not know that there are convenience stores absolutely everywhere in the cities. The three main ones are 7-Eleven, Family Mart and Lawson. And literally you're never more than 2 minutes walk away from one. There's some really, really nice snacks and food that you can get in there. Anyway, if you have a look at the packaging of this, you can see that there are numbered instructions on how to open it. So number 1 is here, pull down. So we're gonna do that first. And that breaks off, put that there. Here's number 2, pull. So then we pull this corner off like this, and you can see that the plastic there was folded inside the seaweed, and that's so that the rice isn't touching the seaweed while it's in the packaging and doesn't make the seaweed soft. And then we've got number 3, the same, pull that one, and there you have a perfect rice ball wrapped in seaweed. The seaweed's still dry because it hasn't been touching the rice in the packaging, and it's ready to go. So I think that's quite a cool demonstration of how technical, genius and convenient Japan can be at times. I'm going to eat this and then get back to some more fishing. Oh, hit the roof. Well, that's it, unfortunately. It's time to pack up. I've got to rush back and get some work done. Ran out of time. I was hoping to get one more, but it wasn't to be. But to be honest, I'm really, really happy that I managed to catch that species. It's a new species for me, and I'm really happy to bring it to you as well. I think sometimes I underestimate how much of a challenge it is to arrive to a new country, a new place with very little local knowledge and fish for a species that you've never caught before. So I'm actually quite proud that I managed to do it, and I'm really happy to catch that fish. That's it for Japan, unfortunately. I've got 2 more days left, but they're going to be full of work and probably shopping. So that's it for this year's Japan videos. It's been very difficult, a real challenge, but I'm so happy I managed to catch one of the famous Japanese species, and I hope you've enjoyed watching along. Thanks very much for watching, and see you on the next one.